Hello friends, so far we have seen the open chain structures of monosaccharides. In this video we are going to discuss about the cyclic structures of monosaccharides. So for that we have to address two questions, that is how they form into cyclic structures and why they form into cyclic structures. First is how they form into cyclic structures. Monosaccharides in aqueous solution with 5 or more carbon atoms in their backbone predominantly occur as cyclic structures or in cyclic form, in which the hydroxyl group which is present on the 5th carbon reacts with the carbonyl group. Okay, you can see here, this is the hydroxyl group on the 5th carbon which is going to react with the carbonyl carbon. This hydroxyl group present on the 5th carbon is not that which was in the case of enantiomers or diastereomers, that is the most distant from the carbonyl carbon. This is different, and why and what is that, we are going to discuss that. And now why they form into cyclic structures. This is because these carbohydrates, that is the monosaccharides here, have the ability, because of the presence of these aldehydes, okay, and the alcohols, which is this. So this aldehyde or ketone group has the ability to react with alcohols. More precisely, the carbonyl group here is, which is of course the ketone group or the aldehyde group, has the ability to react with the alcohol here. Now we may think why this carbonyl group is not reacting with this second number hydroxyl carbon, the hydroxyl group which is present on the second carbon or the third carbon, hydroxyl group on the third carbon. Why this carbonyl is not reacting with these hydroxyl groups? So the answer to that is the alkanes, the cyclic alkanes with 5 or 6 membered are most stable of their counterparts with the 3 or 4 carbon atoms. Why is that? Because of the presence of low angle and eclipsing strain. We don't have a need to go into much detail, that is what is low angle and eclipsing strain. From biochemical point of view, we remember this, okay? Now we have the reactions with alcohols. Now we know why they react and how they react. Now we are going into the detail of this reaction, that is how they react with alcohols. Before that, I must tell you that this reaction is an intramolecular reaction, that is the reactants, that is reacting entities are present on the same molecule, that is the hydroxyl group is present on the D-glucose molecule here, and the carbonyl group is also present on the same molecule. So they are present on the same molecule, that is intramolecular reaction. So now there are two reactions that is possible when these hydroxyl groups present on these monosaccharides acting as alcohols react with these carbonyl groups. The first reaction is where this hydroxyl group acting as a alcohol react with the carbonyl group in two ways. In two ways means the alcohol can react with carbonyl group when this carbonyl group is in the form of a aldehyde, or it can be in the form of ketone group too. So first, in case when this is aldehyde, the alcohol would react with this aldehyde, it would form what? It would form a hemiacetal. Okay, when the alcohol is going to react with the ketone, that is when the sugar is ketose, the group would be keto. Okay, the group would be a ketone, so it would form a hemiketal. This is one reaction. Two molecules of alcohol can add, but for the context of this video we are going to discuss only one, because in the second reaction, that is the addition of the alcohol to the second molecule of alcohol to the carbonyl carbon, would result in the formation of a glycosidic bond, this one, okay, and that would also form, in spite of this, full ketal or full acetal. We have already discussed three types of stereoisomers, that is the enantiomers, diastereomers and epimers. There is fourth category, remember, that is the anomers. Now how anomers are formed, we are going to discuss that, but before the definition we go into the detail of this reaction. We go into the deep detail of this reaction, that is the addition of the alcohol to the carbonyl carbon. In this case, when the alcohol reacts with the carbonyl carbon, for instance say aldehyde, in this case glucose, when this fifth carbon hydroxyl is reacting with the carbonyl group, what it will do? It would result in the formation of an additional chiral carbon. Remember what is chiral carbon? The carbon which is attached to different atoms or group of atoms. You can see here, more precisely you see here, this carbon which was initially this is attached to 4 different atoms. You can see here, it is the result of the attack of this hydroxyl group on this. Okay, now we see here in this reaction the carbonyl oxygen, this can be pushed downward or upward, or more clearly we can say that the hydroxyl group here can attack this carbonyl group from 2 sides, that is from the back or from the front. And in this case, if it is attacking from the front or from the back, in this way it can result in the formation of 2 different stereoisomers which are nothing but these anomers. So these anomers are stereoisomers of a compound differing in their stereochemistry or configuration, that is the arrangement of atoms around hemiacetal or hemiketal carbon. In this case, hemiacetal carbon or anomeric carbon, which was initially called as carbonyl carbon. Okay, so this now has become the anomeric carbon, and the 2 different compounds which is the result of the addition of this alcohol to this carbonyl group are known as alpha anomers and beta anomers, or simply anomers. Okay, you see this was simply a D-glucose, open chain structures. The hydroxyl group on the 5th carbon, which is having a lone pair, is attacking on the carbonyl carbon. What it would do? Result 2 forms, alpha and beta. Now how we can name this alpha and beta? If the hydroxyl group on the 1st carbon is in the opposite direction, that is of the 6th carbon, there is a hydroxyl group, okay, it is facing upward, okay, and in this case this is facing downward on the 1st carbon, then it must be alpha. Okay, and if the hydroxyl group in this case is facing upward, similar to the carbon number 6, in this case it was 6, I have said 5th, that was wrong, okay, it was 6th. So if it is facing similar to the hydroxyl group present on the 6th carbon upward, it is also upward, it must be beta. So this is alpha D glucopyranose and this is beta D glucopyranose. Now what is the meaning of this glucopyranose? Gluco is for glucose, pyranose means ring which is containing 6 carbons, and for the 5, like in case of ribose, it would be furanose. Furan, ring is furan, and the anomer would be alpha D ribofuranose or beta D ribofuranose. Like this we can name this. Okay, I think this would help. Thank you.